Hi, this is Thought Experiment with Anna London, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about the Panopticon of the digital age, a thought experience or experiment on law, order, and technology. So imagine a society where crime rates plummet overnight, not due to increased policing or harsher laws, but through the omnipresent eye of technology and the collective power of social media. So here's a thought experiment exploring how this might unfold. Okay, the first is the surveillance state 2.0. And in this scenario, every public space is equipped with cameras not just for security, but for real-time crime analyses. And these cameras, integrated with advanced AI, don't just record. They analyze faces, movements, and behaviors against a database of known criminal activities. But unlike past dystopian visions, this surveillance isn't secretive. It's transparent with live feeds accessible to the public, ensuring accountability. Right. The next is crowdsourced policing. So social media platforms evolve into tools for instant reporting. An app where anyone can report suspicious activities with a simple tap, integrating with live feeds from public cameras. But this isn't just about vigilante justice. Every report would trigger an automatic review by AI, which then decides whether to alert human law enforcement or not. This system would leverage the power of the crowd for surveillance, but filters through AI to prevent misuse. All right. The next is digital alibis and crime prevention. Everyone carries a device that can record their movements and interactions already, creating a digital alibi. So this technology, an opt-in for privacy reasons, of course, would act as a deterrent for major crimes and minor crimes. Knowing that one's actions are verifiable discourages many from stepping over the line. Additionally, predictive analytics from social media profiles could identify individuals at risk of committing or becoming victims of crime, offering preventive measures like counseling or a community report. There's also an option for, if you think about it, blockchain for evidence integrity as well, right? Everybody talks about how to use blockchain. Well, this is one way we could do it. All criminal evidence, from video footage to digital communications, would be stored on a blockchain. And this would ensure that evidence can't be tampered with, maintaining integrity from the moment of crime to the courtroom. And this also applies to confessions or statements, reducing the chances of coercion or alteration or deletion, as well as the ability to store exculpatory evidence, right? That's evidence that would lend to somebody being innocent of a crime, right? And not give the judges really the option to refuse if it's evidence is evidence, good, bad, or indifferent, right? Especially exculpatory evidence, which many times illegally is withheld, okay, which is not fair. It's not right. All right, so let's talk about the public consensus on justice, because legal proceedings could become more transparent and participatory. Social media platforms could host discussions, even votes, on nonviolent case outcomes under the oversight of legal professionals to ensure fairness and adherence to law. This might not decide verdicts, but could influence sentencing or community service options, making justice feel more communal. Okay. But let's talk about the ethical and privacy conundrums, because there are many. The ethical implications are vast. While this system might reduce crime, it poses significant questions about privacy, autonomy, and the essence of freedom. So how much surveillance is too much? Can such a society claim to value individuality when every action is potentially under scrutiny? So in conclusion, this digital panopticon, where technology and social media meld into a near ubiquitous law enforcement tool, paints a picture of a safer world, but at what cost? The thought experiment doesn't conclude with a utopian or dystopian end, but rather prompts us to consider, three things. How much privacy are we willing to sacrifice for security? Can justice be crowdsourced without descending into mob rule? And the final question is, will technology make us safer or just more controlled? This exploration into the future of law and order through technology isn't just about crime reduction. It's about questioning the very nature of freedom, surveillance, and what it means to be watched in a society where visibility equals safety. All right, right now China has this implemented. And it's a bit suffocating, I would assume, for people that are over there, right? And even though we have Big Brother to a certain degree, we have many of the three-letter agencies, quote unquote, spying on us, if you will, listening in. I think it would be a little bit intrusive on the freedoms that we do enjoy today, right? But there's not enough police to go around, and we're definitely not going to make it a police state, right? Or a military state, if you will, right? We don't want to do that either. So how do we catch things? How do we catch things like rapes in dark corners? And, this could also identify, sex trafficking, kids, right, that are being exploited across the borders, right? Especially above ground, right? It could definitely capture folks, especially known criminals, known different types of behaviors. There's different body movements, right? Like in the military, they teach us to look at behavior, right? The body says a lot. It's not just what you say, it's what the body does, that you just can't control. It's subconscious, right? The way the eyes look up or down or left or right, right? When you speak, the way you might fiddle with a pen, or the way you wiggle your foot or turn a certain way, in towards a person or away from a person, or your tone and inflection or what have you. You can try to fake all that all you want, but the body actually expresses a great deal more than what you realize. And see, those kind of things can be identified, right, through AI means, right? Already we have CCTV cameras everywhere. There's Ring cameras everywhere in people's homes. This would just be another complementary layer to that, right? And it can also help, especially when people are predators, right? Before they pounce, right? Get them, or identify the victim, right? A potential victim. Help also teach victims to, help them to realize different strategies to keep themselves safe, right? So that we can minimize the victims out there, right? And hone in on the predators before they pounce, right? I'm all about preventative measures. More oftentimes, police are after the fact. Like, you have to have committed a crime. Like in domestic violence, for instance, somebody has to have hit you, committed something for them to even intervene. Okay, even if somebody says, "I'm going to kill you," that's not enough, because that is actually counted under the freedom of speech, right? That we hold sacred, right, in our Bill of Rights and our U.S. Constitution. So, but there needs to be something done, right? And the other thing is accountability, because right now, even with the laws that we do have and the way that the law is being enforced, right, at whatever level, the minute these police are risking their lives day on and day out, right, and arresting folks, and then the legal system is just turning them back on the streets. And so what good does that do? Right? It's like a kid, right? If a kid's not disciplined, right? If you tell a kid, I'm going to take away your iPhone, but then you never do it, they're going to continue. In fact, they're going to get worse, because they're going to feel entitled, right? And then they're going to know, I can get away with this, I can get away with more, right? And so what they do ends up becoming worse and worse and worse and worse, right? So you're actually, feeding the beast, if you will, and I don't know if that's purposeful or not. It's just strange to me. It just defies all common sense, right? I mean, it's just strange to me, okay, to enforce laws. If somebody steals something, right, it's just like the Ten Commandments, or whether or not you believe in the Ten Commandments or not, or believe in God or not. Come on, don't steal, right? Don't steal, don't kill, right? All these things, right? It's just some natural stuff to keep us safe, right? Because if everybody killed everybody, if it was like the purge, then this would be a horrible place to live. And right now, that's what the Western countries are turning into by allowing this stuff, right? So it's just increasing in intensity and frequency, the crime. right? And people are just, a lot of them are repeat offenders, and they're not doing it because they're hungry, let's be real, because they get food stamps and all kinds of things. And if they come across the border, they get, $10,000 a month or whatever it is, right? I've heard multiple, different amounts spoken. But it's not because of that, I can guarantee it, right? They're not stealing food, they're stealing Nikes. If they were hungry, they would be stealing food, right? They wouldn't be stealing Nikes and clothes and big screen TVs and looting stores just because, right? So that's my point is if they were really hungry, it's one thing, right? But they're not stealing food, okay, so much, okay? Some people maybe, but for the most part, they're just stealing materialistic items, right? So the whole thing of they're just doing it because they need food. Well, stealing a loaf of bread is much different as filling up your cart and stealing liquor or, a 70-inch screen TV or clothes or whatever, just because, right? So anyways, I hope this was enough to just get you to think through this stuff, right? It's like, okay, here's the problem, right? And the huge root cause really is our laws are just really not being enforced in the courthouse, right? But if there's social unrest and things that could happen, right? It's kind of a scary thought, really, honestly, out on the streets. There's not enough police to go around to protect everyone anyways. So this could be a complementary layer, at least something, right? Could be a complementary layer to what they're doing to help augment. And also, they already have, the police, the cameras, right? The police are retrofitted with. But that's not enough because that doesn't give all the perspectives either. It's not a 360, right? It's only from the view of the police officer. It doesn't show what happened before or after or during. And so when people splice it, put it on social media, and then they go after the officer, when in fact it could have been a legitimate, right, response to a legitimate threat that needed to be neutralized, right? Let's be real, okay? Put yourself in their shoes, okay? You just want to let somebody charge at you and not do anything about it? I don't think so, okay? If you are, then you're pretty weak because it's or you want to die, right? You have a death wish because the average person, okay, the average human, survivability instinct should kick in, right? And you want to protect yourself, okay? So, there's got to be something that's done, okay? And, surveillance, as much as I hate to say it, we're kind of already doing it anyways. This would be a complementary layer leveraging AI, actually, for our benefit, okay? I don't agree with AI in vehicles, other than Ubers and, Ubers, taxi cabs, that kind of stuff. I think that would be helpful, too, because that'll help those drivers as well. And already there's video in there, but you can augment with AI to determine just basically behavior analytics, right? There are lots of options out there, okay? We just need to leverage technology for good, okay? But again, there's a fine line because as we talked about, right, there's that, the ethical and privacy conundrum, right? So, we have to be very careful. And so it doesn't infringe upon our rights and freedoms and liberties that we enjoy. But with allowing everybody to come in here like we've done, crime has skyrocketed, right? And, it's just really bad. And so what do you do, right? Because like I said, there's not enough police to go around for everyone to protect you. A lot of people can't afford, their private security like, the elites can or even Congress can, right? So, we can have weapons all we want, but, I think this would also help so that people don't have to, even if they wielded weapons, it'd be less of shooting somebody, right? Because if you can leverage AI for behavior analytics and identify things before they go wrong, alert the right people, right? Get the right arrest, right? I don't know. There's just tons of things that we could potentially do, right? And I'm all about, I think human life is sacred, right? So I don't think we need to be shooting everybody, right? I don't think that's the right answer either. But again, kill or be killed, of course, and shoot, I mean, I'm military trained, so, it's definitely not going to be me that's going to go down. And if anything, I'm not going to go down without a fight, that's for sure. So, and if any of you should be thinking that, right? And arm your kids, right? And your wives, your husbands, your partners, right? Everyone should, it's like this, right? When you have a castle and you have the perimeter of the castle, right? Okay, so, once it's, if you're able to hold them off, right? Hold the enemy off, okay, to a certain degree. But if they breach those gates, right, they're going to go through, the soldiers, right, first. A lot of men, of course, some women, but then they're going to go after the women and children, right? The elderly, the weaker, the more vulnerable. But if you can arm them with something, right? Arm them. Not everybody can, but, women shouldn't be just held as just, feminine, so just don't give them a weapon or, keep them over there like a nice little flower. No, 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 no. You need to also arm them with defense mechanism, because if the man goes down, right, then how's the woman going to protect herself and her kids? And let's just say the woman goes down. The kids should be able to protect themselves as well. So I'm all about almost like the Spartan type of analogy, right, or what have you, where everyone is capable of protecting themselves to the degree that's necessary, right, to sustain human life, right, and survivability, okay? They should be able to do that. And you should teach them basic survival skills and a variety of other things, because you never know what's going to go down, whether it be an EMP attack, like I mentioned in my previous episode, social unrest. It could be anything at this point, right? A terrorist attack from anyone, okay? You just never know what's going to go down, okay? Somebody just attacking you just because, right? Because that's the way it is. People just attack people, out of nowhere, okay? There's so much mental illness right now and civil unrest already that it wouldn't take much to exacerbate it, and it would be like the purge. So make sure you're teaching, your kids. Obviously, babies and toddlers can't do anything. It's age appropriate. So research what's age appropriate, and also in your state, local governance laws and things like that. I don't want anybody breaking the law, but we should all be thinking about survivability, disaster preparation, all these things, right? So I hope this was helpful. Okay. This is, Anna London, with Thought Experiment. And I hope these are providing value to you, okay? Enjoy, happy listening. Stay safe out there, right? And get yourself, the tools, learn the knowledge, and employ whatever you can, wherever you are, to ensure that your family, right, is safe, right? You and your family are safe. You have enough food, enough water, right? You're secure, right? And all these things. Because, again, it's not if, okay, but when. All right. And it's more imminent than ever. And I hate to be the fearmonger, because I'm not trying to do that. But you hear everyone. It's going to go down. Something's going to go down. Something's going to go down. And whether it's another pandemic, for instance, or whatever, right? You want to be prepared. Okay, is all I'm trying to say. All right. With that said, this is Anna London with Thought Experiment signing out.